And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Project Elite from Artipia Games. Project Elite was a game that I first saw at Essen, and I was intrigued because it comes with piles of miniatures. I was also intrigued because during the course of the game, he said you just take these miniatures and throw them aside, and I thought, well, that's intriguing. Then I heard it was a real-time game, and I was less intrigued. Co-op game? More intrigued. Theme? Defend your spaceship or defend from a bunch of aliens coming in? Okay, although many of these games have not enamored me in the past, but maybe one of these will be the one. Well, let's take a look at this one. The board comes with two sides. This is the alien crash site, and on the other side we have the abandoned lab. So let's see. We'll leave the abandoned lab like this. It's a little upside down. Actually, no. Let's make it this side so you can see it a little bit better. So here we have the abandoned lab, and each player is going to pick a character, and so there's several characters to pick from. We'll take a closer look at these characters later on. You'll take a miniature for your character, and you're going to start down in this area. Then you're going to pick a mission that corresponds to the abandoned lab. So there's a bunch of mission cards here. You'll see that some go with the alien crash site, and others go with the abandoned lab. So I might pick the abandoned lab recovery mission if I want to, and then medium difficulty. But we'll pick a simple one. This is an easy one, abandoned lab extermination. Then I'll look and see how many players I have. This will tell me how many things in this mission I need to go destroy a certain number of things. It will also tell me how many bosses will come out and anything else that might happen. Some of these will show you that events come out in certain rounds. Like this one here, you see an event happens many rounds. 4 bosses come out. And so different things are going to happen based on the card that you pick. As I said, each player is going to pick a character card, and on that character card they're going to put 3 wound tokens. Characters are also going to get 4 action dice, and they get 4 dice to roll. It doesn't really matter the number of dice they have to roll, but you have 4 regular 6-sided dice. As the game goes by, you might take wounds, and if all your wounds are gone, you lose one of your action dice, and then your wounds refill again. And if all your action dice are gone, well, then you're dead, and everyone loses. Players can have a possibility of getting items and equipment. In fact, you'll start out the game with them, so maybe this person picks a weapon card. This is the revenge weapon, and a launch pack, an item card. And you can have up to 2 weapons equipped over the course of the game, and as many items as you want. So the game takes place with up to 8 rounds, and you'll keep track of them here. If bosses are going to show up or events are going to happen, you actually can stick them on here as shown by the different the scenario cards and whatever they tell you to do. At the beginning of each round, you are usually going to have aliens cards where aliens are going to spawn. And you'll turn over an alien card, and it will tell you how many of that alien gets spawned. So in this case, 3 of these runners get spawned. It tells you which spawn point, and you randomly have some spawn points on the board. So here's spawn point 3. And this tells you that these green footprints means they act right away. They're going to move 3 spaces. So I find the runner tokens right here. I put them here on the starting spots here for 3, and then they move 3. How do I know how they move? Well, they follow the arrow. So there's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can kind of pick where they go, 1, 2, 3. And so these guys are already running on the board. Then I look at the next one, shooters. Now, if we had anyone come out, there's a chance that these shooters will get you. But this shooter hits each character within range 3 on a roll 4+, so they're going to shoot at you. 3 of them are going to show up at spot number 1. They don't move now, but they'll move during their movement phase. So again, I just hunt down the different kinds of aliens. So in this case, I'm going to get the shooter aliens, and there's aliens with guns, and I'm going to put them on the number 1 spawning zone. Then the next card here, more shooters are going to show up, and they show up in zone 3, and I would put them, they show up in zone 2. 3 of them come out in zone 2. And then biters, which is the 3rd regular kind of alien, would show up. 2 of them are going to show up, and I'm going to roll a red-sided die, which is a randomizer from 1 to 3 to show what zone, and they will also immediately move 2. So as the game goes by, you're going to have different aliens on the board, And these are going to come out at the beginning of all 8 rounds. So you can see a lot of aliens are going to be coming out, and that's based on number of players. Now, the 3 main kinds of these basic aliens are biters, runners, and shooters. Biters, at the end of a round, will attack anyone within them. They'll roll a 6-sided die, and if they roll 4 or higher, they do a damage to you if you're next to them. They're the weakest, slowest enemy to some degree. Runners, they don't damage you at all. They can't even hurt you at all, but they move super fast. And if an alien gets across this line here into the base, or across the line if you're playing with the crash site, you will lose. So runners are super dangerous, and shooters are slow, but they'll hit you within range 3, and they roll a 6-sided die and need to hit on a 4 or higher. So those are the basic aliens, but other aliens will show up. As you go throughout the deck, you'll find all sorts of funky aliens, like a Strider. His movement is equal to his life. A Time Walker. You have 10 seconds less in the action phase. This guy, the action phase ends immediately when this guy is killed. And the Slime Spitter will put slime tokens around the board. You roll a d20, and you notice that there's little yellow numbers around the board. He'll drop those off. These models come in green, so you can differentiate and figure out them because they're special. But you're mostly going to be dealing with those 3 basic types of monsters. Now, once you've spawned anything, and once you've drawn any events, if any events need to be played, you turn over the event and do whatever it says. The events will stay in play until they're gotten rid of. Then the main part of the game comes in. And this is where the players are going to take turns. You get a timer, you set it for 2 minutes, and then you will start it once everyone's ready. During this 2-minute countdown, players are going to be rolling their dice as fast as they possibly can. You can re-roll them as often as you want to, but if you ever roll an alien movement thing, before you do anything else, you don't have to do it, you can do whatever you want, but you can't do anything else until you resolve these dice. You take an alien and you simply move them 1 following one of the arrows. Aliens can push other aliens. Aliens can even push the humans back, so you got to be careful. You can re-roll as much as you want, but 1 out of 6 chance on every die is that the aliens are going to move. Well, what are you actually rolling the dice for? Well, you're usually rolling the dice if you roll the movement symbol that allows you to move 1 space in any direction, even diagonally. If you move the magnifying glass and you're in one of these spots on the board, you can put that magnifying glass there. It takes it out of the dice you're rolling for the remainder of the round. That's what that red background means. And you can search and get another item or another weapon. If you have weapons, you can roll to put them on. So for example, this Revenge here, which has an unlimited range, it rolls 1 die, and you need a 5+, it shoots only a straight line. But if I roll a gun or a hand symbol, I put it on here, activate it, then I can re-roll this and just keep doing it over and over again, but I have to roll the right symbols to use this weapon. We'll take a look at some of the weapons here. Here's an Exo Shotgun. This has a range of 1, rolls 1 die, but hits on a 2 or higher, but needs 2 guns to activate it. You'll notice that there's red boundaries here. That means I can't change the range and I can't change the hit. I can change how many dice I roll, though. There are some items that will modify things. Here's a Rupture Gun. This takes 3 guns, unlimited range, rolls 3 dice, and hits on a 4 or higher on each one. Most of the creatures take 1 hit, so you hit something, boom, you pull it off the board and you throw it to the side. You're going to want to do that because you're playing with this timed limit. The Exile, this lets you re-roll a result of 1. Here's the Rocket Launcher. Notice this has a red, so when you put the red thing on it, and my 2 minutes is up, by the way, you can hear the timer beeping. When you put a gun on this one, it has to stay there for the rest of the round. But it rolls 4 dice and hits a single target. So you would do that probably when you're shooting a boss. Oh yeah, did I mention bosses? Bosses are going to show up. Now, bosses have more than 1 hit point, unlike the rest of the creatures. And bosses are big and mean and nasty. And like this one spawns an extra alien card every round. This one goes 2 spaces when it's spawned, and then it's going to be moving 6. It's a huge thing. Any character within range 1 loses a life, and this guy has 9. And these are represented by giant red figures that are going to be on the board. And so the different ones are going to come out, and they'll be spawned and moving around, and players are going to need to take out the bosses as well. You'll notice on this board there's walls, and you're going to be funneling and focusing people through those walls. I'm not done yet because there's items, and items are maybe not as cool as weapons, but they can be useful. Here, this one I can attach to a weapon and reduce the number needed to wound for this weapon by 1, but I need 3 of those to be able to attach it to a weapon, but then I can modify part of that weapon. Here I can attach to a weapon, but I have to put 2 dice there, and it has to stay there. But each turn I can re-roll 1 failed hit. So this is going to use up 2 of my dice, but that may be worth it. power armor, holster, range booster, slot stabilizer, extra ammo, tech skeleton, med pack where you can heal yourself. You can't ever get dice back, but you can heal the wounds that you've taken on your current character card. So players are going to be running around and doing that, but what's the whole point of players? You are trying to stop aliens from getting into the base, but you are trying to accomplish your mission. Now, most of the time, your mission is going to involve these tokens here, and you'll draw some of these randomly, like this one's used in the extermination mission, and it will tell you where to put it, so maybe you put it here, and then you need to go next to that, and you need to put guns on this one. This one's going to need 4 guns placed on it, which are going to use up your dice, but multiple players can work on it. If you don't do it in one round, then all those dice come back. So you're going to need to get that dice on there and pull that off as quickly as you possibly can. Once you do that, then maybe this one's gone. So like for extermination, you just need to go fill them up with dice. Sometimes you need to go fill them up with dice, then grab it and bring it back. But these are going to be usually, if you can notice, the spots where these are also where the aliens are spawning, so it can be a dangerous thing. When the 2-minute is up, then players are going to then move all the aliens, well, first they do any attacks if they have any, so players may take damage from that. Then all the aliens that are left alive move, and then you start another round. And you keep going. Now remember those events I mentioned? Those events, like here, during the alien ability phase, all non-boss aliens hit each character within range on a roll of 5+, incoming fire. And this is going to happen for the rest of the game. To get rid of this, players have to roll these specific dice, place them on it, then its event card's gone. But as you notice, these are red, so you put dice on here, and it's going to be a pain in the neck. Like here, the action phase is 20 seconds less. Now you only have 1 minute and 40 seconds. Well, in a 2-player game, that's easy. You put 2 of these here, but that's still 2 of your 8 dice that you're rolling that round. So event cards, they're not in the easy scenarios, are certainly a way to ramp up the game. Finally, let's talk about the different characters that come in this game. Actually, that's not finally. We have one more thing. But Caress here, when he kills an alien within range 1, he can move on that spot. So he can just kill and keep moving. Bus is your tank. He doesn't lose life when an alien pushes you. So usually when an alien pushes you, you're going to take a hit, so you got to be careful. Bus doesn't have to worry about that, and he can just stand in the way. You get him in a corridor here, and he can blast aliens. Rob Cart here can use his action slot to search for weapons and items, so he can always search for items. We call them B.A. Barkus. Lila here, she has 5 prevent alien move tokens at the beginning of a round, and she can spend a token to ignore an alien move symbol that she rolls, which can be handy. Momentum can move 2 for each movement die that he rolls. And Mercy can heal herself or another character that's within range 1. So you have these different characters to pick from. You're trying to find a good combination. You're trying to beat it. Also, whenever you defeat one of your objectives and get rid of it, or if you kill a boss, you can draw a card from Alien Tech, which is weapons and items. Like here's a crusher weapon. Look at this thing. It has a range of 2, 3 dice, 2+. Or this armor here, attach your character, ignore all wounds by soldier alien abilities. Or this weapon, Fear or Nightmare. Yeah! Okay. This one, when you hit someone, you can roll and get an extra hit. It takes 3 hands to shoot these things, but this is just cool extra stuff that you can find. Anyhow, you're either going to win by accomplishing your mission, which is outlined in the book, depending on what kind of mission. So for extermination, you're going to have a certain number of these out there that you need to take out. For recovery, you need to go get some and bring them back. But you also need to make sure no alien crosses this and none of your characters die, because those are also losing conditions. You win or you lose. Wow, did I love this game. I was surprised at how much I like this game. Oh, wow. This game is really fun. And I'll tell you, I think what makes it fun is it lets me do what I always want to do in these types of games. And that's grab a machine gun and go as the aliens are coming in. And yes, the aliens are going to get you. Yes, there's going to be giant ones, but let me kill a couple of them at least. So many of these games, it's like, I can't even kill one alien. No, in these games, I'm killing like 30. And I feel good about it, okay? And I really enjoy that fact of the game. Now, there is one negative of the game. The game is cool looking. The art is good for the most part. A little bit of it looks like looks a little generic 1990s sci-fi. But I like the guns. I like the tech. I like the board. The miniatures themselves are okay. And had I reviewed this in the year 2000, I would have been like, yeah, look at this plastic. That's amazing. The problem is there's so many great miniatures out there that these are definitely lacking. Now, because I'm just grabbing these and throwing them to the side, for the most part I don't care. I just wish maybe some more care had been put into the player character miniatures and the boss miniatures. For these guys, no big deal, although you will sometimes squint because they look a little bit like lumps of gray plastic. But that doesn't really kind of lower my opinion of the game. I just enjoy it so much. So you have this time limit of 2 minutes. Oh, time limit. And that's usually very stressful. But in this game, you kind of, I don't know how to explain it. You get into the zone. It's like 2 minutes. All right, I'm rolling my dice, and you can re-roll as much as you want. You're like, oh, I have to make the alien move. What am I doing? I'm moving here, here, here. I'm shooting this, shooting this. Hey, I need to move that alien. Can you move that one over there? I need this over here. Can someone help me? And you work together, but at the same time, you're just like moving around and shooting and just concentrating. Oh, that alien's going to run past. I got to go back and get him. I got to get to this objective. And so that time frenziness is there. But it never felt so overwhelming. It never felt like, I can't get this done. And I really had a lot of fun with that. Again, I just want to sometimes be a hero who's holding back a horde of evil. And that's what this game feels like. And it's a lot of fun. And because there's only 3 basic types of creatures, it's easy. You instantly will quickly remember them. Those guys are the fast guys. Those guys are the slow guys who bite. Those guys are the super slow guys who shoot. And then a special alien will show up once in a while, a Slimer or whatever. We're like, okay, how do we deal with that specific one? The boss shows up, everyone shoot at the boss. You each have your own weapons. Every weapon feels cool, right? It's not like, oh, I got a pistol. No, your weapons are cool. You work with them. You don't like it, go get another one. And so, it's just in my wheelhouse. And the game isn't that long either, right? So you have 2 minutes for each of the 8 phases, so 16 minutes of real time, and then some stuff that happens before and after. So figure another 3 minutes per turn. So a 40-minute game, 45-minute game, definitely. You can take probably 5 to 10 minutes to set the game up. But once you know what you're doing, each mission is a little bit different, and different enough so that it's really entertaining. Now, I think that the abandoned lab is slightly easier because they have a little bit farther to go and you have tunnels you can funnel the aliens down, I think. But the easy, medium, and hard, easy is beatable. I know this. We've beaten it. Medium feels like it should be beatable. Like I said, feels like it. Hard, I haven't tried that yet because that's just insanity. But I just want a game sometimes that lets me take my imagination and go out there and be some sort of hero, and this game allows that. And it's not so complex. The speed keeps things moving. The dice, you get to roll them. You feel like you have different options. You feel like you're working together as a team. You can play it solitaire. I haven't tried that yet. But just even working with one other person, it's like, yeah, let's go in. Let's get this done. And when you're done, you high-five each other. So much fun. Highly recommend it. That's Project Elite. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!